from Santa Fe.
I'm sorry.
I'm from Dickinson. So, actually went to high school in La Marque. My parents actually moved to La Marque because the education was so good at that time. They took me out of a private girls' school and moved to La Marque. I'm what you call a really late bloomer. I've been married to John Mitchener for a long time. We have 4 children, and I stayed home and raised those kids, and I was a stay-at-home mom. I did start a small business at one time, and I went to COM as a non-traditional student. That means I was older. And so when I went to COM, I was really scared to death, but I owe COM a debt of gratitude. I got an AS at COM at a time when the education there was excellent. I couldn't have gone anywhere and gotten a better education. And I know that because when I went to work, it was an interesting experience. And so I went to work and I plunged in full force. I worked in Houston. I got a certification in eating disorders, and I worked on eating disorder unit. The eating disorder unit was in Bel Air. It was sold. It belonged to a company in California. And I did some adjunct faculty stuff at COM. And I told some people the other night I was the first person to fail the Dean of Women. She took a class from me while I was an adjunct professor, and I wasn't a professor, I was an adjunct faculty, and she didn't take her final, she didn't take the exam, so I marked her incomplete. And then I went on to bigger and better things and went to work for Mainland Center Hospital, where I was for 20 years. Couple of years I worked in psychiatry. I was with the first group of licensed chemical dependency counselors in the state. That AS from COM served me well. I worked in psychiatry, and we had a new gentleman come in as the director, and I went to a meeting and I walked out and I said, this man is not a clinician and he's not thinking about the patients. I need to find out what's going on. So very shortly after that, I enrolled in UTMB, and I found out exactly what was going on. I got a degree in healthcare administration. I was working 40 hours a week. I had 4 children and an active husband, and I finished UTMB in less than 2 years. I couldn't have done it without the science that I got at COM, and without the challenges that I got. So I owe a debt of gratitude to College of the Mainland, and it's time for me to pay back to the college, to the community, even this chamber. I went through the chamber leadership program for the college, for the hospital, and then I went back the next year and served as chairman for a year for the leadership program. I left what I was doing at Mainland Center Hospital and became the wellness coordinator, which meant we wrote programs for industry, but we didn't write them, we did them. And we reached out and we partnered with College of the Mainland. And we served the Dickinson School District, the Texas City School District, Amico, and ISP all at the same time. It was a well-coordinated event. I've been blessed, I've had a wonderful life. My children are grown, they're all employed, they're all educated, and they're tax-paying citizens. I bring something different to COM. I'll listen because I believe everyone needs a seat at that table. I believe the community needs to know what's going on. The faculties needs to know what's going on. Administration needs to know what's going on. Everyone should have a place. And the board should be responsible to the community. We're paying the bill. And it just seemed to me that every time they got close to a place where they were going to float a bond issue, something happen. And so I want to be there. I want to see things change. And I'm so glad I'm not running against Don Garvin. And I thank you for your time. And I am position 5. Thank you.
Good evening. Thanks for inviting me here to speak tonight. I'm going to just jump in because she's serious business. The most crucial issue of this election, as I see it, concerns the need to make deliberative, inclusive decisions and to leave the day-to-day operations to the professionals. I recognize that my role as trustee is not to run the college, but rather to oversee highly qualified professionals who are given this task. As trustee, we should focus on the broader indicators of success and setting goals for the college. We have to develop a positive working relationship with those professionals and listen to the community leaders to ensure College of the Mainland is meeting the needs of the community. Unfortunately, this is where the current board is struggling. The most obvious example of this concerns the board's decision to allow President Lewis's contract to expire. Now, I won't rehash the process tonight, but the decision-making process left something to be desired. The board seemed to hope that no one would notice they failed to take action on renewing her contract, but they were forced to confront the issue publicly when it was reported in the paper. The board failed to provide clear justification for this non-renewal. The board not only ignored the public opposition, but rather ran from it repeatedly and retreated to closed sessions with a high-priced attorney. We cannot continue to operate this way. Being a trustee doesn't mean that you have the power to make things the way you want to make them. Quite the opposite. It means you have the responsibility to serve the community. As trustee, I'll remember that I'll work for you. The first way you'll know that I'm working for you is that I'll work with the board to move the meetings to the evenings. Why isn't this meeting taking place at 12:30 like the regular meetings at College of the Mainland? Because nobody would show up. Why have this meeting when nobody can attend the meetings? How do you know that your opinion is being valued? The lack of transparency has led to the erosion of public support for College of the Mainland, and this loss of support has been especially costly. It has caused the college to delay a desperately needed bond measure. The state of this facility brings me to my next point, the importance of the trustees to practice sound fiscal management. For the current board, this simply means cut the budget. But that's a simplistic means of operation. It's certainly important for the college to live within its means. However, budget cuts are not always appropriate and could even cost taxpayers more money over time. Consider the facilities at College of the Mainland. Over the last 6 years, and I'm short, so I'm trying to lift this up, sorry. Over the last 6 years, the board instituted a series of deep budget cuts and now have amassed roughly $25 million in reserve. Hoarding $25 million while the campus falls apart is not fiscally responsible. Ignoring significant infrastructure issues can cause minor problems to become major problems, and this costs the taxpayers money down the line. As trustee, I will ensure COM lives within its means, but I will not allow the college to hoard money while neglecting necessary preventative maintenance. Just this year, the college turned away students on the first 2 days of class because the heater was broken. Few among us would keep 2/3 of our annual expenses in the bank while our house fell apart around us. We can do better, and the students and the taxpayers deserve better. The college should also address potential budgetary issues by looking at ways to increase revenue. For instance, College of the Mainland has an enrollment problem. Many students that begin the application process at college do not end up taking a class. We need to determine why we're not closing the deal with these students when they begin their application. Also, half of the students at College of the Mainland are eligible for the Pell Grant, but they don't receive them. Helping students receive grants would allow students to enroll in more courses and would increase college enrollment and college revenue. Over the last 6 years, the board has failed to make decisive, inclusive actions to move the college. And it's time for a change. We need someone with fresh eyes that has the will to break the stagnation and move the college forward. And I have that will. I bring the skills necessary, and I have the background necessary to turn around College of the Mainland. I graduated from the University of Houston with a bachelor's in business. I have 15 years in human resources, and as a businesswoman, I bring common sense, collaborative, and data-driven leadership. My career requires me to work across all levels of a large organization in order to build consensus when implementing new processes, policies. What? I didn't see the 1 minute, but I need your support. I think together we can ensure College of the Mainland serves the community for the next 50 years. Thanks.
Thank you, Jake, and thanks to the Chamber for hosting this event. As he's already mentioned, my name is Roney McCrary, and I live in Santa Fe right now. I grew up in La Marque, a product of La Marque schools, graduated from La Marque High School, and I went to Texas A&M and got a BS in industrial technology, and eventually found my way to American National Insurance Company, where I worked for 37 years. I was the Vice President and Director of Application Development there. I have a family pet. My wife is here with me tonight. We have 2 children who both went to school in Santa Fe. Both of them are married. We have 5 granddaughters and 3 great-granddaughters. No grandsons, just granddaughters. In addition to that, I did serve 9 years on the school board at Santa Fe ISD. So I have had some previous experience before I ran for the position 5, and I am the current incumbent. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the successes and some of the things that the college could use improvement in the time that I've got remaining. The first one, the success is the partnerships that College of the Mainland has with the community. It's amazing. And when we talk about College of the Mainland, most everyone sees it as a diamond in the rough that's sitting here in Texas City, Texas. And it's in large part because of the partnerships that have been developed. One of those partnerships is the PTech, the technology degree that you can get from College of the Mainland. In the American Association of Community Colleges today, College of the Mainland was highlighted, and one of the statements in that publication was that College of the Mainland graduates with technical degrees earn the highest starting salaries of any university in Texas, $73,509. And this is according to a study by Higher Education Research Group and on college measures. So the PTech program has been extremely valuable to the community and to the college. 3 or 4 years ago, we were leading a community committee, and it involved some folks from the community and some from the college. And I talked to the person that was just coming in as the site manager for Eastman Chemical and asked if they wanted to be a member of that committee. They said, not only do I want to be a member of that committee, but I've got to be a member there, because if I'm going to be successful, the only way that I can be successful as site manager is to be able to recruit and encourage some of those folks from College of the Mainland to come and work for us. And successful she was. She got promoted, and she's not here anymore. But that was her take on the PTech program. Another one of those partnerships is the nursing program most successful, but it is a very successful program at the college. There's a waiting list of people to get into that program, and we're having to turn those folks away every year because we just don't have enough room for them. And incidentally, the nursing program just received accreditation just in the last several weeks. They were reaccredited again and came through with flying colors. Another feather in their cap is the first-time pass rate for the nursing program taking the test. It's amazing. I'm sorry, beg your pardon. But the first-time pass rate for the folks taking the test, the quiz. And then there's one other thing that I would mention to you, and that's that there's been a consulting company that has been retained that's working with the community and with the college to develop ways to improve corporate partnership with the community. So that we see that as one of the really, really important things that's going on at the college. Now, those things are very positive, the things that make college of the mainland look good. There's some things that there's some areas that we need improvement in, and one of the things that already has been alluded to, and that's completion rates at the college, both graduation rates and those folks that actually go on to complete an associate degree. And there's lots of reasons that is the case, but we're trying to improve those completion rates, and there's several things that have been put in place, pathways we're working on, and then something called co-requisites.
Can't hear you back here.
I'm sorry. So any of those folks that are taking developmental courses at the same time are required to take a regular course for that same class. So that and that has improved graduation rates immensely. We have a new president, Dr. Nicholas, has implemented that in the past in Tennessee, and he's going to kind of spearhead that effort. The other thing that I would mention just in closing is the aging facility, something that we do need to address, and when the time is right, we've got to address that and do something for our students. Thanks, appreciate it.